Well, if you're watching this video, you've taken out a rental most likely on our 2023 Palomino Puma Ultra Light. So we're just going to go over a couple things about towing in general, how to hook up, how to decouple. Then we'll also go over several things about the trailer itself, so you can use this video as a reference and hopefully get the most enjoyment out of your trip as possible. Something else to talk about very quickly is going to be this lock. So if you are going to leave the camper for an extended period of time, this helps keeping it from getting stolen. Okay, very simple device. All you got to do is put the ball up underneath, put the lock over the top, pull the key out, and you're good to go. Okay, trailer brakes, very important topic. If your vehicle already has trailer brakes, you will not need something like this. This is something we offer. It's a $50 add-on. Highly recommended if you're going to be driving through the mountains, or if you just want some added security and not wearing out your brakes and overheating your brakes. Go ahead and get this puppy. You need the One Control Auto app. All right, it's available on Android and also available at the Apple App Store. Okay, so One Control Auto, very simply, you open your 7-pin connector, you slide this in, all right, you put the strap about as far back as you can to get a good connection, and then you just button it down. Okay, it should stay there. There'll be a series of blinking lights underneath. You use the app, you create a link, it's Bluetooth, and then you'll be able to control the pressure applied by the brakes to the trailer, all right, through this piece right here. And you'll very, very simply connect the trailer connection to this. All right, that's as easy as it is. It's a great add-on for security, peace of mind, if you don't already have trailer brakes in your vehicle. Okay, next things we're going to do is connect our chains. All right, and most of you probably already know how to do this. You can skip forward if you want, but the chains just go underneath. Some people crisscross, doesn't really matter. You've got 2 slots somewhere when you're towing underneath the vehicle. 1, 2. If your chains are too long and they're starting to rub on the cement, on the pavement of the road, you can shorten these up by just twisting them a couple times. Okay, so you just twist them a couple times, like so, and now you've got shorter chains, and you can reconnect. All right. The thing you have to be mindful of is you don't want this too tight to where it's going to, in some way, inhibit your turning radius based on where these go. Now, you're going to remove the pin. You're going to tilt the switch up, and then right here you've got extend and return, and once I say retreat or return. It is slow, but that's okay. It gives you good control. If you're plugged in to the vehicle, you get a lot more juice coming straight into your 12-volt battery, which is going to allow you to have more power when you're using this jack. All right, so when you're towing back out at the end of your trip, you'll have a lot more juice if you plug in first. Okay, so now as we get close, I can see the ball coming through. Hopefully I've done a good job of lining up. You'll see the jack start to come off of the jack stand or the ground or whatever you have it on, and that's when you know it's about time to try to flip this switch, get that ball in there. Sometimes you're going to have to shake the trailer, give it a little shift. May have to give this thing a kick or two. You got to go a little lower. Should be on there. All right, I'm going to have to put the vehicle in drive and just jiggle it a little bit. Got a good connection right there. Yep, looks like we're on. Good. Now the pin's gonna go right back in. Once I get it forward, there we go. Pin is in, okay? Next thing to do is gonna be to check your trailer lights. So an easy way to do this is with somebody else yelling back and forth as you flick between your hazards, your left and your right, your reverse, and then your nighttime running lights. Other way you can do it is to just put a phone back here, someplace, hit record, and cycle through all your lights. Make sure they all work, come back and check your video. Another important thing to remember is try to get this hitch up all the way before you start taking off driving, because you're going to go up and down some hills. When you go up and down hills, this thing's going to want to hit the ground, especially depending on your vehicle if you happen to be lower. All right. Now, next we've got your emergency brake. All right, this red cord. You're going to attach this same place you attach your chains. The theory on this is that should you decouple and detach from the vehicle, this red cord will get pulled out of its connection, and that will automatically lock up your trailer brakes. So your trailer hopefully doesn't keep on going on down the road. All right. Last thing here while we're at the front, you have a master switch for your 12 volt, which is back here. It is a key. All right. It's a key. You very simply connect. You have a release position to pull the key out, off position, so all of your 12 volt power is off to the trailer, and you turn to the right, on, and now everything can come on inside, like your lights. You can use the awning, you can use the fan in there, whatever 12 volt accessories. You can use the phone chargers, for example, and there's a little diagram down here to tell you between on, off, and release. Just one more quick point about the towing. What I like to do is I get 5-10 minutes down the road, 3, 4, 5 miles down the road, find a good safe spot to pull over, and then just check everything again. All right, make sure that your trailer brake controller is still plugged in right. It hasn't come loose. Same with the e-brake, make sure it's on there good. Check your chains, check the jack, make sure it hasn't come up and down. And make sure the hitch pin is still in there. And really, most importantly, is to make sure that you're not dragging that electrical cable, all right? And just make sure it's all plugged in. Okay, one of the first things you're gonna wanna do when you get to where you're going is you're gonna wanna unlock this. This thing does stick. It's the round key. From time to time, it does stick. Sometimes you have to push it in a little bit, all right? Turn the key, comes undone, undo, undo. Pop it open. You have a clip up at the top, clipped. You're gonna pull out, okay, 4 of these things. These are your wheel chocks. Put one in front of and one behind each tire. Now, as you do it, you can see I've already got one back there. I like to go ahead, put those in, and then give them a couple good taps with my heel to try to make sure that they stay secured. Now, before you go inside, this is not a bad time to turn your propane on. Simply twist this little knob until it slides out of the way. Open up, and you're going to turn to open, okay, to allow the propane to flow. All right, after it's open, shut, twist it back. All right, jack stands, how do these work? You'll have 4 of these easy blocks in the storage space here, all right? You may or may not be able to use them. You will also have a hand crank, which is for the harder work that needs to be done. We've also included this electric drill with the necessary attachment, so you can save yourself a lot of time by simply using the electric screwdriver to do that. Now, if I put these underneath, I don't have to go nearly as far. I'll repeat this process 4 times. However, what you'll notice here is that there's only so much juice in this thing. So eventually you may have to, depending on how you parked, do it the old-fashioned way and use a little bit of that human power, okay? There is a bubble level inside on the countertop to make sure that you get your vehicle or your trailer as level as you can. Now that my wheel chocks are in place, I can very simply put the jack stand down. If you have clearance, depending on how you're parked, I highly recommend using the trailer jack block. It's going to give you a wider footprint for more stability, and you don't have to move the jack as much. All right, but get the wheel chocks down first, then go ahead and get this jack stand set up. You're going to decouple everything, all right, starting with the hitch pin. Take it out, pop it off, raise it up, undo your chains, undo your electrical connection. Though I would say you might want to leave the electrical connection in for a minute to pull your awning out, so you're actually getting a little bit more juice from the vehicle. A thing to remember though is if you're plugged into the vehicle, you are pulling power, electricity from your 12-volt battery inside your vehicle. So if you leave your vehicle turned off and plugged in, you can drain your vehicle. So make sure you decouple that before you drain the battery in your vehicle. Another thing people like to do when they first get to camp is to deploy their awning. All right, so you have a button right here, awning in, awning out. Awning goes out. The thing to watch for is this door. Ask me how I know, okay? I've opened this thing several times with the door in the way. Move the door to allow room for the awning arm to go out. How far do you take the awning? When the awning gets to the appropriate distance, an extra flap will drop down from the front. That flap is going to be a little bit of a sun protector for yourself, but it's also going to let you know that you've gone far enough. It's probably out of the picture, but you'll understand what I'm saying. Now you do have some lights right here. You have two lights, okay, on two separate switches. They're labeled on and off. The first one is going to be your LED strip. Uses very little electricity, very efficient. It's nice, gives you a nice glow down here at nighttime. However, the orange one, if you're in a buggy area and you want to have some light out here, the orange is going to attract less insects, so I would recommend that one if it's buggy out. Now before you go turning on a whole bunch of stuff inside the trailer, I recommend plugging into shore power first if you're camping somewhere with shore power. If you are going to use a generator of your own or the generator that we offer as a rental, so be it. You can plug into most places a 30 amp connection, including the generator. We also have an attachment. It's in the storage unit in the front. Attachment's black. It's about that big. That allows you to go from 30 amp down to household 110 volt. Now, the other end is going to be your attachment. Simply lift up and screw on. You can see there's some threads perhaps right there. So you just line it up appropriately, put it on, and then the tricky part is just getting these threads right. So you screw it on to get a better connection and to make it more watertight. And then I always like to, if I can get it, there we go. Just drop that back down to keep a little water from going in. Okay, one of the most common things to break on travel trailers and RVs, the stairs, because people don't take time to set them up properly. Now, you have a little blue hook here, latch, pull that out, slide, you pull your stairs out. You'll notice on the bottoms, you have these feet, okay? These feet are adjustable by pushing that in, sliding it down. Now, if I have it too short and they don't touch, and I try to step up here, I'm going to rip this whole thing off. All right, even hanging there is not good. If I have them too long, then you have a gap here between the door sill and the stairs, which is also not good. All right, so what you want to do is adjust these appropriately until you feel like you get the stairs exactly where they are resting evenly with that door seal. All right, then you're good to go. When you put them away, simply lift up, drop these in, and then redo your blue latch. Otherwise, it will destroy this screen door as you're driving. So make sure you get a latch and tuck it away. Now, what I recommend doing before you get too comfy and cozy and start putting too many things on top of the bed, there are things underneath the bed you're going to need to get out that will not come out of the side storage unit. Two things namely. Number one is the outdoor grill, and if you option for it, it's going to be the generator as well. So this does lift up, it's on struts. It will touch the TV, and the thing you have to be very mindful of is because we put in a bigger queen size mattress, not catching right here on the window. So as I bring this up, you'll see that I start to catch. Go ahead, push the shade up first. Probably should have done that first. And then pull this mattress towards you, towards the center of the bed as you lift. All right? Now that allows me access to the two things I need to get out. Number one is going to be the grill, which is not extremely heavy. It's simply awkward. Okay? And the bag that it's in just keeps some of the drippings from getting everywhere because it is a grill. All right, so we're gonna bring that out. I would take that outside. Next thing I would get would be the generator. Generator, it's about 47, 48 pounds. So 2 arms. It's gonna wanna scrape here, and do your best not to scrape the generator on the side as you pull it out. The other thing that you may want to get out would be the firewood if it doesn't fit through the side, plus it's jammed in the back. So just remove these totes. They're light when they're empty. All right, set those out of the way. Then it makes it easier to get to other things like firewood if you option for it. The folding table will go out the side, but it's pretty easy to grab since you're right here. So you can pull this forward and take out the folding table as well. Okay, everything will fit. It goes back in its place. We also have the outdoor area mat and some of your other connections and hookups. Okay, now that we've come into the camper, into the trailer, one of the first things you want to check is the fridge to see if it's on. All right, hit the power to go on. Right now I'm running off a 12 volt, but eventually, I don't care what battery you have, it's going to run out of juice if you're just going off your 12 volt battery. So you can, if you don't have shore power or a generator, you can switch over to gas by hitting that button. It'll switch to gas. All right, I typically leave it on auto so that it'll automatically hook up to the shore power, which is what most people are going to be on. But that's one of the first things you want to check as soon as you get in. We also have these ice trays. If you didn't bring ice, make yourself some ice. Put water in there. In the morning you will have ice. Okay, let's talk real quickly about lights. So you've got indoor lights here, interior. This is only going to turn on a couple of lights here in the main area. Okay, every other light is going to have its own switch. There's one there. There is one under here. Okay, we've also got one over the dinette. You've got one over the sink. Okay, the stove we'll get to in a minute, but it's got a light as well as a fan. Okay, you've also got a light over each bunk. And as you may or may not be aware already, you also have USB-A and USB-C hookups at each bed. Continuing with the indoor tour, if you're plugged into the generator or you're plugged into shore power, your air conditioner will work. You have a slot here to control the flow of air. You can also direct the air out the sides, which I recommend because cool air will fall and it will disperse the air better throughout the camper. You can control the temperature of how cold you want it. You can control if it's just a fan or if you want the actual AC up. If you're going off the generator, the higher you run the air conditioner, the more gas you use. If it's super hot out, go ahead and crank it up sometimes, get it nice and cold, and then I would back it off to the lowest setting. It's quieter in here and much more efficient. Now, as per the kitchen, you've got hot and cold water. All right, if you have low water pressure like we do right there, you do have a water pump over here. You'll hear the water pump when it's first turned on, making a little noise, moving water through the system. If you want hot water, you have a hot water heater here, which runs off of propane. If you turn that on, I wouldn't keep that running all day, trying to keep the water hot. But if you know you want a hot shower at night, turn that on about 20 minutes before you want to take your shower. You'll have a hot shower, and then you'll also have hot water for a few other things, cooking and cleaning, etc. If you run out, you can always turn it back on. Just only takes about 20 minutes. Outlets here are GFCI protected. So if something does get tripped, you'll have to push these buttons until it comes back on. Again, that only works with shore power or with the generator. We do include one of these little bubble levels, so you can try to get yourself as leveled as possible. That'll just be in one of the drawers. Speaking of the drawers, you have utensils, forks, knives, etc. We have plenty of trash bags. These little orange packets, okay, these are, we'll keep one or two extra ones in here. You shouldn't need them. I'll throw one in to the toilet before you take your trip. So you should be good to go. You shouldn't have to add one of those. But that's what those are. You have 2 lighters in here. Very self-explanatory. Turn it on, light it, good to go. High, low. Definitely use your fan. Always use your fan. Please use your fan. All right. If you don't use your fan, it's going to smoke up in here, and the trailer has a good chance of smelling like whatever you're cooking for about the next 2 weeks at least. Especially if you do bacon. If you can do bacon outside, please do that. If you do bacon inside, because it's fun to do bacon when you're camping, please have a fan on because the bacon smell tends to permeate everything. So light fan there. There's your stovetop. We do include some pots and pans and some dish soap, some mixing bowls, things like that. There's a Keurig coffee maker. Simply plug it in, place it here. You should know how to use a Keurig coffee machine by now. Just put the pods in, very self-explanatory. Microwave's going to work again with shore power or with a generator. And you do have a control panel down here that I'll try to bring you in a little closer to see real quickly. All right, so your control panel, okay, is going to give you all the vital information you need on your black water, which is empty, your battery, which is, looks like got 11.7 or so volts, your gray tank, your fresh water tank, and this is just a warning light, and then you can see you've got your water pump and your water heater. So I just want to make one more quick note about the microwave, which is if you're running the air conditioning and you turn the microwave on, you're going to blow a circuit someplace, okay? So remember, it's not like a house. Now if you're on, I got to preface that with saying generator. If you're on shore power, you should be fine. If you're on the generator, it cannot handle the load of both the air conditioner and the microwave at the same time. So just turn your air conditioner off, do your microwaving, turn your air conditioner back on. The heating is pretty self-explanatory. The heat runs off of the propane located up front, and it's just like a household. It tells you what the temperature is in here. It's pretty hot today, and then all you do is push your dial across to make it warmer. Just don't forget to turn it off by simply sliding it back to 0. So for some of you, the star of the show will be the stereo. All right, depending on where you're at, you may not get a lot of stations. This is telling me it's 12:37 in the AM, not AM radio. You can plug in via USB. Most people don't do that. anymore. There's an HDMI connection as well. All you're going to want to do is hit the Bluetooth button. It's going to ask you to pair your phone just like you would any other Bluetooth device. You have 2 zones. Once you have paired, you have Zone A and Zone B. It's going to tell you right here up top that Zone A is on or Zone B is on. Zone A is indoors. Zone B is outdoors. Controlling the volume will control the volume for both indoor and outdoor. All right, you got your twin size bunk beds. Obviously they are an RV twin because they're a little more compact. What you may not know is you have a dinette that turns into a twin size bed as well. So when you pull the top off, that may happen. Hopefully it doesn't. Just do your best as you're converting this to not scratch the countertop. I recommend just setting it down on the bed for a second. You can pull the legs out and you can simply store them underneath, or you can put them under the bed, the queen bed, if you're going to be leaving it as a bed for a little bit. Now you go back, you get your countertop. Okay, now how do you put it in? Pretty simple. There's going to be a magnet there and a magnet here, and those magnets will line up with these 2 little magnet pieces down there. Try to hold it in place. All right, I just heard it lock. Slide these to the center. Push these down, and you have got yourself another twin bed. As per the TV, it's pretty straightforward. All you really need to do is make sure that you have electricity via shore power or the generator. TV will work. Open up your shelf. You've got several remotes here. It says Insignia. Look for the Insignia remote. Hit the power button. There is an antenna on top, so you have a decent chance of actually getting somewhere between 1 and 15 channels, no matter where you're at. It also has a DVD player up top. Pretty straightforward DVD Blu-ray player. So if you want to bring some movies, if you still have DVDs or Blu-rays, you just change the input to make it work. Lastly, we also bring this, or have this in here. This is a Super Nintendo. There's, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9 games in here, something like that. All you gotta do is plug into this power strip up here for the Super Nintendo, which is right here. It's actually pretty fun. And you have audio, video inputs down on the bottom of the TV for the Super Nintendo. Here is your fuse block and your breaker panel. So should something go awry, push in, it pops open. Okay, you can see here on the right are your fuses that are labeled, and I will add some more fuses and put them in one of the drawers. And then if you look over here on your left, here's your breakers that are going to be all your AC power devices, such as your microwave, your refrigerator. I'll just go ahead and add this tidbit in here because at first I tried to mess with this to get the blinds to go up and down. All you gotta do is push them up and pull them down. Very simple. All right. So as we move to the most important room in the trailer, the bathroom, you'll notice we have a little motion sensor light that will come on. Otherwise, you do have a light switch here to turn the light on. The shower is actually not bad at all. You can control your hot and cold just like you would in your house down there at the bottom. And typically I recommend water, soap up, rinse off. Here is a ability to turn the water on and off while showering. It will still trickle. Don't worry about that. It's designed to trickle. All right. Highly recommend turning on the fan. In fact, I'd say it's pretty much a must. So all you gotta do is fix my camera here. All you gotta do is twist here to open this up and turn the fan on. Okay, get some good ventilation because it's a small bathroom. Now, turn that off when you're done. And then most people will forget to close this when they leave. So please don't forget to close this before you pack up the trailer to go. Okay, the toilet, the scary part. It's really not that scary, all right? Just do your business like you do your business at home, all right? When you step on the toilet, it gives you some directions right here. If you want to add water, you just step on it slightly to have a little water in there. To get the full effect, just step all the way down. You'll get water. Trap door opens, and everything goes into the black tank. Okay? Here we have a little wastebasket. Push up and down, very simply. And we also have, if you push here, a toilet brush. Don't be afraid to clean the toilet. Okay? Very important. Put the brush back, and it will simply slide back in like that. That is here for, we like to put our shoes, flip-flops, sandals, things like that right here inside of this net, and it just keeps it a lot more organized. So I set up the outside here to give you an idea of how things might look when you're camping. We do have the 5 camping chairs that come with the rental. We also have this outdoor mat, the table, which comes in very handy. Basically gives you an outdoor kitchen if you just bring a little water out here. Today I brought a crock pot just to show you that you can do some cooking with your exterior outlet. And we've also got the Keurig set up. You've got a grill out here where you can do some cooking. Here's your water fill. All right, the trailer will come with a full tank of water, but should you need to refill, this is where it's done. Okay, and then I will show you quickly how to set up your grill. So just walk on back behind the trailer, remove this pin, all right, just like that. Slide this piece around, replace the pin so that your grill doesn't go flying. It can only move a little bit. Then you'll simply pick up your grill. Let's see if I can set this where you can, there we go. Pick up your grill. And the top piece is going to be the one that just slides over the top. Just line it up. Like so. Undo your clips. Here's your grill top. You may have to adjust this top piece, line it up with the holes because it does move around when you're driving. And then you've got your exterior propane hose with quick connects, all right? So you have your quick connects. This end goes underneath. You'll see LP quick connect, liquid propane quick connect. Pull the yellow plug out. You're gonna push in. I'm gonna bring it down here so you can see what I'm talking about in case you've never used a quick connect before. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So you're just going to remove this yellow plug that was in there. You're going to push this piece back and push the hose in, and then bring that piece back. We're now connected. You also have a little valve that needs to be opened, right? It's in the closed position. Now it is in the open position. Okay, now you're going to take the other end. Watch your head when you get up so you don't hit the awning arm here. But, sorry, working with my tripod here. You will then take the other end of your propane hose. You're going to see it has a valve as well. And it also has the same quick connect. So pull back the quick connect, slide it on. Don't let your grill run away from you. Okay. And then move to the open position as such. Then turn to the ignition, which is a little lighter looking thing. And you have an ignition switch over here to ignite, which does work. If for some reason it doesn't, you can just use one of the lighters down there. Control the flow of propane to control your heat right there. Now we also have the ability to bring a bike rack. It's one of our add-ons. I didn't bring it out here today, but it's just a receiver hitch rack. So this would be the same as the receiver hitch on any vehicle. Just open that up, remove the pin, the hitch slides in, the bike carrier rather slides into the hitch, lock it in place, and it holds up to 4 bikes. Okay, so a couple things of note behind this spare tire. Number one is going to be your city water connect. If you have the ability to connect to water and you don't want to use the tank, or you want to save the tank water, you simply connect right here. It'll be pressurized, so you won't have any need for the water pump, and you'll have, in theory, unlimited water coming off of the city line. Use the white hose, please. That white hose is for water only, so that it stays very, very clean. The other thing we have, using our round silver key, is going to be the outdoor shower. All right, now the outdoor shower, if I can get the key in here, here we go. Outdoor shower is great when the weather's nice, or if you got dirty kids, or a dirty pet, or dirty bikes. It just comes out like so. You've got the same water flow control, and then you've got hot and cold, just like you do on the inside. We also have a full-size spare tire. Should you need to use the spare tire, please pull off into a safe location, and then simply use the jacks that are located underneath the trailer to jack the vehicle up to it, be able to work on it. Okay, last but not least, everybody's favorite topic, emptying your tanks. All right, we do provide some gloves. Okay, I just cleaned this, so I'm not going to use gloves because it's clean. But there's some gloves. We also provide this attachment. If you'd like to use it, you don't have to use it. You simply want to rotate this cap counterclockwise. You may have to use 2 hands. It'll open up, let it hang. You can connect via this piece, should you like, right on the outside. Twist it clockwise. Make sure you get a good connection, otherwise you're not going to be happy. Now, if you don't want to use that, you can use this piece, which will simply slide in. Push it in, get it snug. Then take the other end of the hose. It will connect like this. Make sure, again, nice and snug. That way you can see water and whatnot flowing out. I should have turned this a little bit more because I need to open these valves. So I try to get that aiming down, which makes sense to begin with. And then we're going to open the black one first. Okay. When there's nothing else running, then you'll open the gray one. All right, black first, then gray. That way the gray water has a chance to wash out whatever might have been left by the black. And that'll help clean your hose as you're emptying your tanks. This end, when you dump it at the dump station, make sure it's in there good, because this thing does have some pressure and it could come out and start flying. You won't be happy. A lot of times there's a cover or a brick or something you can put over this to make sure it stays in. And then when you're done, this goes back where it came from, which I did not show you, which is right here inside of the bumper. All right, so you just feed that back through. Again, I would say have your gloves on for all of this. I'm about to go wash my hands. As soon as I'm done, I'll be washing my hands. Okay, jam that back in there. A little ways. Here's your cap. Put that back on. All right, take this piece out. Put it back with the gloves. Put your cap back on. And then go do what I'm gonna do right now, which is, I don't know if you can see that, I took this thing out, put the cap back on, and then go make sure you close these, and then go do what I'm gonna do which is wash my hands really good. Okay, propane refill. Simply unscrew this, push it back, pop the top forward, unscrew here. Try not to lose this nut. So put that in someplace important, in your pocket, whatever. And then you're going to push this piece in, bolt, as you push the case out. Okay? Then, the top does fall off sometimes. You can remove this. Make sure that your propane is closed. Unscrew that. And then I'll include this little mini screwdriver in the storage compartment or in one of the drawers inside the trailer. You don't necessarily need it, but it makes it a lot easier to unscrew this. So you can either hold it still and twist, or you can hold the nut still and unscrew. Okay? Either way, you don't need to take it to where the nut comes all the way off. You just need to give it loose enough to get the propane tank out. Be mindful of knocking this regulator as you come up. Pull it out. And then take it to a hardware store, any place that refills. If you don't, we can refill it for you for $30. But that might be the easiest thing for you, or you may rather just do it yourself because you didn't use that much. So, there you go. Reverse the steps to put it back. That's it. So one of the last things I'll talk about here will be the generator. Cover should be clipped on like so. Please use the cover if you leave this out in the rain. Don't run it with the cover on. Obviously, you'll melt it and you'll hurt the generator because it won't get any air. But if you leave this outside, it starts to rain. Maybe tuck it underneath the trailer. That's what I usually do. And then when I put the unit back inside the trailer, I always use the cover just to keep things clean. All right. Now from the front, it's very simple by design. We did not buy a complex one. You have your off, your run, and your choke. When you're first starting it up, you're probably gonna have to use the choke. Choke, pull the starter cord a couple times like the old school lawnmower. Once it starts, move it from choke over to run. And then when you're done, move it to off. It does have an eco mode if you want to turn that on. I would only use the eco mode if you're not using heavy loads, like you're just wanting to get a charge into the battery. But if you're going to use a microwave or the air conditioner especially, just leave the eco mode in the off position to run regularly. There are some USB chargers on here, but you have those in the trailer. Shouldn't need that. The power cord that connects to the side of the trailer is a 30 amp. Slides in there easily. If you had a couple other things you wanted to run, so be it. There's some regular household outlets. If you do end up tripping a breaker someplace and you can't find the right breaker inside the trailer to flip back, there are a couple AC breakers here that you may want to push to test. There's also an AC reset button right there. And that's pretty much it. It'll come with a full tank of fuel and you'll get a couple of extra gallons. If you run your air conditioner on low, it'll run all night, 6 to 8 hours, okay? With the air conditioner on low. So I would maybe add a little gasoline before you go to bed if you want it to run all night. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. One thing you do need to keep in mind, this thing does vibrate. It's a generator, there's moving parts. And I learned that if you're facing downhill a little bit, or even if you're not, this wire can jiggle loose and all of a sudden you're gonna be inside checking breakers to see what the problem is, and really the wire has just become disconnected, and that's it. Now when it's time to go, just do the steps backwards. All right, we really do want you to have a good trip. If there's anything that we can do to make your trip more enjoyable, please reach out and message us. If you have any issues with something that doesn't work, again, message us. We'll try to get it working, make it right. Make sure that everything is in working order before you pick up the trailer or before I deliver the trailer. On top of that, if something does go wrong, please just contact us and say, hey, this thing broke. There's insurance when you sign up for the trip, so the insurance should cover it, but just let us know so that it's not something that I'm figuring out when the next person takes it out for a trip. If you have any recommendations on how we can make your experience better, please let us know those as well. And lastly, just give yourself a nice walk around of the trailer before you leave, making sure that everything is picked up, put away. You don't drive away with the jack stands down, or with the shore power plugged in, or with your city water still connected because you're in a hurry. Just make sure that you go through the steps backwards and have everything buttoned up. Thanks.